Now, we've been talking a lot about these no-go zones in the programme, but why do we apparently have them, according to Paul Scully? Is it mass migration? Well, this afternoon, the Home Secretary will make a speech in New York on how global action is needed to reform the migration policy.
Joining us now is our Home and Security Editor, Mark White. Mark, I think you know exactly what the Home Secretary is going to say. Tell us, what's he saying over there, and is he right? This is all feeding into what's been happening in the Tory party. It is one of the consequences of mass migration to this country.
Well, yes, he will talk about a growing issue, a growing crisis, really, that requires an international effort along the same lines as the international effort against the climate crisis, because according to the Home Secretary, it is as serious in terms of how it will impact the globe in the years to come. We've had these predictions, of course, of as many as 1 billion people, maybe even more, in the years ahead who will be on the move because of various issues in terms of poverty, famine, war, the lack of opportunities at home. And so what James cleverly will tell his audience in New York this afternoon is that the international community should get together and look at the way forward, look at issues around tackling this global crisis in migration. Now, he puts the UK forward as being a leading example of what to do in terms of tackling migration. I'm not quite sure how accurate that really is, of course. I mean, he's talking about the groundbreaking Rwanda policy, but of course that's 2 years ago that was first announced by Boris Johnson, and not a single flight so far has left for Rwanda, and that appears to be some way off yet before we ever see any flights heading to Rwanda. On the issue as well of trying to encourage people to stay in their home countries and to develop opportunities for people in their home countries to stop them travelling abroad. Well, you've got the UK, where net migration last year was more than 750,000, latest figures from the Office for National Statistics. And although they are predicting that it will fall, it's still going to settle around about 350,000 people in terms of net migration. So that's a big issue for the UK to tackle as well, in terms of the demand that it has for people to come, for migrants to come to this country to take up jobs.
OK, thank you very much, Mark. It'll be interesting to see what comes out, what James cleverly says. In an election year, you've got to get the tone of that right.
And let me tell you, he's on manoeuvres, because they all are.
Yeah.
He'll be a contender for the leadership. He's got a pretty safe seat there in Essex. And of course, he's got an immigration issue in his own constituency, because they're trying to move migrants into is it a former RAF camp in his constituency?
Scampton. Is it that one?
One of them.